Welcome back to Master 79. In this lesson, we are going to take one ielts writing task 1 table all the way from a blank page to a band 9 answer. We will read the data together, brainstorm it, plan it, and then write the full essay sentence by sentence. Here is the task. The table below shows the percentage use of 4 different fuel types to generate electricity in 5 Asian countries in 2005. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features, and make comparisons where relevant. Write at least 150 words. Notice those 2 instructions. Selecting means you do not report everything. Making comparisons means the examiner wants relationships between the numbers, not a list of the numbers themselves. This is the data. 5 countries down the side and 5 categories across the top: nuclear, coal and lignite, petroleum products, hydro and wind, and a final category called other. The highlighted cell in each column is that column's highest value, so you can see the peaks immediately. Every row adds up to 100 because each figure is a share of that one country's own electricity. That matters. It means Malaysia's 61% coal does not tell us Malaysia burns more coal than Japan in absolute terms. It tells us coal matters more within Malaysia's own energy mix. So how do you read a table quickly? 5 moves. First, read both sets of labels before you look at a single number. Second, check the units, and here every row totals 100%. Third, scan each column for its highest and lowest value because that is where your comparisons come from. Fourth, hunt for the country that behaves differently from the others. Thailand has no nuclear power at all. Exactly 0, and that is worth a sentence on its own. And fifth, and this is the one that separates band 6 from band 8, never describe the table cell by cell. Group the countries that behave alike. Let us brainstorm. On the left, what each fuel tells us. Coal and lignite, Malaysia 6 to 1, Singapore 4 to 2, and everyone else down at 3 to 6. Nuclear, Japan 4 to 9, South Korea 33, and Thailand exactly 0. Petroleum, Thailand 36, everyone else 2 or 3. Hydro and wind, South Korea 48, Thailand 19, the rest 3 to 5. And other, Thailand 4 to 2, Singapore and Japan both 39. Now look at the right-hand column because this is the step most candidates skip. Those observations collapse into groups. There are coal countries, Malaysia and Singapore. There are nuclear countries, Japan and South Korea. There is one clear outlier, Thailand, with no nuclear and heavy oil use. And there is a renewables leader, South Korea, far ahead of everyone. 1 sentence per group, not 1 sentence per country. The overview is where band 9 is won or lost. It is the one paragraph the examiner looks for first, and a missing overview caps your task achievement score. Keep it to 2 sentences and put no figures in it at all. Save the numbers for the body. Instead, state the shape of the data. Here, the shape is that no single fuel was used heavily by all 5 countries. Then name the pattern you found: a coal camp, a nuclear camp, and 1 country that does not fit either. And begin with the word overall, so the examiner cannot possibly miss it. That gives us a 4-paragraph plan. Paragraph 1, the introduction, where we paraphrase the prompt, change the words, never change the meaning. Paragraph 2, the overview, are 2 big patterns with no figures. Paragraph 3, the coal story and the nuclear story together because they mirror each other almost perfectly. And paragraph 4, petroleum, renewables, and that final other category. 4 paragraphs, roughly 230 words. Here is the introduction. The table compares the percentage of electricity generated from 4 fuel types together with an unspecified other category in 5 Asian countries in 2005. Look at what changed. Shows became compares. Percentage use became the percentage of electricity generated. And notice the small phrase, an unspecified other category. That single word, unspecified, shows the examiner you actually understood the table rather than copying its heading. Now the overview. Overall, no single fuel was relied upon by all 5 countries. Each had a distinctly different generation profile. Coal and lignite dominated in Malaysia and Singapore, whereas nuclear power was the leading source in Japan and, alongside hydro and wind, in South Korea. Thailand alone depended heavily on petroleum products. 2 sentences, not one number. And yet a reader who never saw the table now knows exactly how it is organized. Body paragraph 1 takes coal and nuclear together. Malaysia was by far the heaviest user of coal and lignite at 61%, followed by Singapore at 42%, while the 3 remaining countries obtained no more than 6% of their electricity from this source. The nuclear picture was almost the reverse. Japan generated 49% of its power in nuclear plants and South Korea 33%, compared with 19 and 13% in Malaysia and Singapore respectively, and none at all in Thailand. That phrase, almost the reverse, is doing real work. It is not decoration. It tells the examiner you have seen a relationship between 2 columns, and that is exactly what making comparisons means. Body paragraph 2 handles the remaining 3 categories. Petroleum products were negligible everywhere except Thailand, which drew 36% of its electricity from them, against just 2 to 3% elsewhere. Hydro and wind were similarly concentrated. South Korea produced almost half its electricity, 48%, from these renewables, and Thailand 19%, whereas the other 3 countries managed only 3 to 5%. Unspecified sources, meanwhile, accounted for over a third of output in Thailand, Singapore, and Japan. Notice the ranges. 2 to 3%, 3 to 5%. Ranges let you cover 3 countries in 3 words instead of 3 clauses. Here is the complete answer on one slide, 232 words. Pause the video and read it as a whole, because the essay does something no individual paragraph can show you. It moves from shape to detail, and each paragraph handles a group of countries rather than a single country. If you take one habit from this lesson, take that one. These are the phrases worth stealing. On the left, language for comparing quantities was by far the heaviest user of, obtained no more than X% from, compared with X and Y% respectively, against just X to Y% elsewhere, accounted for over a third of output. On the right, language for signaling a pattern. No single fuel was relied upon by all. The picture was almost the reverse. X alone depended heavily on, similarly concentrated, and negligible everywhere except. Learn the pattern signaling column especially. Those are the phrases that prove you are comparing and not merely listing. So why does this answer reach band 9? Task achievement. There is a clear, figure-free overview, and every fuel category is covered with accurate, well-chosen data. Coherence and cohesion. 4 logical paragraphs, with countries grouped by how they behave instead of listed one after another. Lexical resource. Precise and varied comparison language used naturally. Words like negligible, concentrated, and accounted for, and grammatical range, colons, semicolons, relative clauses, and concessive clauses, all used accurately. One honest note. This Band 9 assessment reflects an internal quality check against the public ielts band descriptors. It is not a score awarded by a certified examiner. Now it is your turn. Cover the model answer and write your own overview in 2 sentences with no figures in it. Then write body paragraph 1 using only the coal and the nuclear columns. Post your overview in the comments because I read every single one. If this helped, subscribe to Master 7 to 9 for more Band 9 walkthroughs. See you in the next one.